Hey y'all. Hey y'all. It's Ashley Camille at Fifth House Bloom. This message is for the mutable signs. Mutable signs for the week of June 10th through June 16th. This is general guidance, so please take what resonates and leave the rest behind. At this time, I'd like to welcome forth the power and the presence of the elevated guides who can assist me in delivering this message for the mutable sign. I ask that you open up our ears so that we hear the truth of liberation. I ask that you open up our minds so that we may bloom. I ask that you open up our hearts so that we may embrace our divinity. I ask for assistance in delivering this message with clarity, empathy, and ease. I give thanks. Y'all, I have had a time today in trying to get this message out. And so after I was getting to a point of frustration, I was like, okay, what is the question that we need answers to? What is the question that we are supposed to ask? And so what has come out is, to what do I say yes? To what do I say yes? And this feels like a message about our empowerment. And so not only looking at, what we want, what we desire, what is a yes for us, what is happening when we aren't saying yes, right? What does your silence empower or disempower? What does your no empower or disempower, right? And are you being an active agent in that? No, in neutral or silence or whatever you want to call it, is just as powerful as a yes. Okay, now we get there. Sometimes we have to pause before you agree to something. You have to pause before you say yes. You have to stop and be still before you plant a seed, before you initiate, before you begin something new, because you have to really get at the root of what it is that you are saying yes to and why. And to be real, sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we simply do not know. And I don't think that has been given enough space, right? There are a lot of things that go into a yes. And sometimes, and what it feels like right now, you have to give yourself permission to be at a no or to be at a neutral, so that you have some real time and some real space to understand what that yes is. And that is okay. This might be a point, or you might be working up to yes by starting with a no, I don't want that. No, I don't like that. No, that does not make me feel good. Or I don't know how I feel when that happens. I don't know where I'd like this to go. And instead of trying to rush through that or to get to some sort of decisiveness, to sit in it, right? To sit in it, because there is just as much information in that no. No gives you the space and the information to form boundaries. 9 of Wands. No gives you the information to get to your yes. We have the North Star. These are guiding you. Your no and your I don't know are guiding you. And we have to give that a little bit more space at this time. Give me a second. This is This feeling like it's gonna be a little different than our usual format. So we have some additional messages coming through. I'm feeling like it's difficult to move forward in something because it's already established. This is like a sunk cost bias type of energy of like, I'm already here. I've already done this. I've already committed to it, right? And it feeling like it is now coming up, right? Like what you said yes to down the road is here. And now you're like, I'm not even sure if this is what I want. I'm not even, or you might not be giving yourself permission to consider that. You might not be giving yourself permission to consider that this is now a no. And really blocking yourself off from some information that is trying to get through to you, that wants to lead you on a different path and one that is more aligned. This is sort of like, if this was a relationship, pushing towards, like a certain commitment, pushing towards maybe, I don't know, like moving in together or something like that. And then now that it's here, it doesn't feel like the right fit. It doesn't feel like the right time. It doesn't feel like the right person. This might be spending, however many years in some kind of training program or to get a certain type of degree. And now that you are, in the work, it's unfulfilling or it's unsatisfying. This might be you moved to a city and you got the job and you are, now you just re-sign your lease and it's not quite feeling right. And so because there is, of course, a balance of like what your resources will allow. Like this is real life, right? I'm not saying that, you might be having second thoughts, you might be having regrets, you just bouncing you peace, right? I am saying allow yourself to gather that information that you might want to move in a different direction. This is asking us to stop trying to force this to fit because you made that decision, right? And so because you made that commitment, because you said yes in the past, it does feel like also that for some, the choice that you want, the choice that is more aligned, the choice that makes you feel free, that makes you feel light, that does feel like a yes, is available, and that you might be sticking with it to see it through. Anything else? Pay attention to the synchronicities, pay attention to the signs. Because what happens is when we don't listen to ourselves, when we don't listen to our guides, when we don't listen to our heart, shit starts to happen. And it's getting to that stage and it progresses. It gets more intense, right? It's like, oh, you ain't hear me? Well, let me amp it up. Oh, you ain't hear that? Well, I got to amp it up a step, right? And so you are, for whatever the situation might be getting signs. You might be getting the synchronicities. You might be getting those warnings that things essentially, if you don't make the decision, it will be made for you in a way that is less than pleasant, right? Where it forces your hand, okay? And so that is part of the empowerment piece. Thank you. That is part of the taking your life, taking your decisions, taking your yes and your no and your I don't know into your hands. You get to make these decisions for yourself. Okay? Give me a second. It feels like something else wants to come through from this deck. Cycle of reciprocity. Give and receive. Give and receive. Can we clarify that? Can you clarify that for me? The Conqueror, the Emperor. Emperor in the traditional tarot. There's that piece about the empowerment. Is that cutting off from a type of support? What is that? I need to clarify. What do I know to be true? The shift in what? Okay, give me a second. What is this cycle? The inflow and outflow in my life feel balanced. I am drained and or overwhelmed when clouded. Connect to the source, share abundance, surrender to vulnerability of receiving. How do I water the roots of the tree that offers me fruit? Okay. So if you don't know where this is applying, and even if you do, essentially this is kind of like where this is showing up for you is where you are being drained. How do you feel after being around this person? How do you feel after being in this place? How do you feel after having performing a certain task, right? I'm not talking about like your physical energy. I'm not talking about, you being tired. I am talking about at an energetic level, where are you showing up, where you have to muster up the energy to be present, right? Essentially, like, where is it where you were kind of like making it through or trying to convince yourself or trying to to push through. Now for some, it's not quite push through energy, but wherever it is, okay, looking at it on the other side of that, it is leaving you depleted. You aren't at neutral, right? It is taking from you to be in this situation. Now, yes, it is definitely feeling like energetic, but this might also be in your resource, right? You might be putting into something right now that is pulling at your money, like it is streaming out. This might be like your time, right? Like it's just taking up so much of it. And here, the difference is that it's no longer an investment. Because sometimes we have to do that. Sometimes we have to put in more for what the return will be, for what you will be able to receive. In this situation, it is just an outpour. And so one of the things that you can look, well, in several things, where is this drainage at? Where is this outpour at? Where is this sucking away at your energy and at your resource? Okay. There's a little bit more about that. And then again, for some of you, the yes is already available, and you are paying attention to what energetically is filling you up. You feel inspired when you leave that person. You feel light when you leave that place. Doing that work energizes you, right? But this drainage, you gotta get rid of that first in order to move towards this situation that is more reciprocal, the situation that is more aligned. And it is active on your part in order to start this building and this commitment to your yeses, right? You're not going to be able to let this slide. You're not going to be able to breadcrumb this away. You're not going to be able to just like to let them get the hints. You're not going to be able to just kind of slide in and slide by. There has to be an active shifting out of this. Again, being realistic, it doesn't feel like for everybody and in every situation that it can just be a deuces. It could just be a cut it off and you're gone. But, you know, let's say, it's requiring either some boundaries, it's requiring some shifting, it is requiring you to navigate in a way where there isn't as much access to your energy, access to your resource, access to your labor or the work that you do. Okay? And that could get real specific depending on the situation. But again, you are the one actively moving away from this. Okay, I will read that to close. I'm getting information, or I'm hearing to read, what do I know to be true when I close? Okay, what additional information do we have? We got the 10 of Swords, did that shit. 6 of Pentacles. And the 7 of Swords. Is that 7? I'm sorry, 5. Why did I say 7? 5 of Swords. Give me a second. 6 of Pentacles in the traditional tarot. 10 of Swords. For some of you, there is an active taking advantage of you. There is an active energy of a person, the situation, whatever it may be, to take as much as they can. Whether that be intentionally, because in some instances, it's not all like a used energy, right? For some, like it is just like a desire to be close to you, or a desire to, you know, have what you have and move through the work, you know. And again, because there is like a lack of boundaries, like it's not a understanding, or it's not a barrier essentially from stopping the seeping of your energy from going out, right? Like, this is general guidance and for the collective, but however, like there is an active sucking away at you that, again, you got to stop this bleed. You got to stop this bleed. Can you give me more about this 5 of Swords? Or we need some support. What actions do we need to take? What actions do we need to take? Some of you do have to end this situation. It's not something that can be shifted. There's too much of a dynamic of manipulation. There's too much of a dynamic of attachment or an over-reliance that the more you try to shift, the more you try to create the boundaries, the more you try to, Three of Swords. They just jump around. They just, it might even improve temporarily, but that is just enough to make it feel like, okay, this situation can be different, right? And it does not feel like it is a true change. There's a lot of Swords energy here, baby. The Omo of Cutlass. That's the Knight of Swords. In the traditional tarot, I'll show you the cards. Okay. Ten of Cups. Last card, please. Queen of Cups, the Aya Calabash. And the traditional tarot, let me show you these. And give me a second. Reciprocity with what? What is that? Because it's moving towards the water. It's moving towards the healing. It's moving towards the emotion. It's moving towards the love. Moving towards the heart-centeredness. Okay. How do we shift out of this Swords energy? To reconnect to our yes. To move out of the situations where there isn't reciprocity, to make empowered decisions and decisive action. I see that. We discussed that. Okay, so it's coming through of the reminder or being drawn back to ending it, right? But then we're shifting into something else. Let me see. I had a day, y'all. What do I know to be true? Okay. The balsamic spirit moon looks at things from the perspective of death. There is nothing so real or so uncompromising as death. There is a groundedness in dealing with something we cannot gloss over or wish away. Damn. This is the moon that takes us to our deepest taproot and asks, what do you know in your bones? Try looking at your life while imagining that death is imminent. What becomes essential? This has to end. This has to end in order for this new type of reciprocity, this new type of fulfillment, this new type of being, this new type of connecting can come through. And you know what it is. You know what it is. And you also, by removing the no, then you make space for that yes. Then you make space for the undistorted version of what this situation is playing out. That's where all of this source work. Like this is whatever this situation may be, this person, this place, this thing, you know, this opportunity or whatnot, is a distortion of your yes. And so part of it is that there is some very real confusion, right? And that might be the cycle, right? That's kind of going back to that, you know, you try to shift the relationship, and then they or it or whatever it is changes just enough to keep you there and to keep you tight, right? And so that is where the distortion is. But there is a clear knowing, there is a clear feeling, and you are to follow what it feels like. You are to follow your heart as you begin to navigate out of this situation. And that will be what empowers you to be able to say yes. Okay? And to move away from this no. And to receive the reciprocity that you are worthy of. Anything else? All right. That's the message.